Right, everybody, welcome in. Oh, come on, 2-bit. I haven't done this, have I? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. As always, we appreciate your time tuning in to Thursday. A bit of a weird one tonight. So I actually have family. I've got family over, by the way, who are staying with us, which is always hilarious because they were like, "Where you going?" And I was like, "Okay, 2-bit crypto. I've got to do a live show on that." So anyway, hope you're all doing well. We need to talk about this wild ass market today. Honestly, it's like the craziest market in the world. Should not have done what it's done today. So we're going to dive into that. I swear to God, this thing keeps going down. It shouldn't do. We're going to dive into that in a little bit more detail. We'll try and understand exactly, my friends, what has been going on. And more importantly, what is coming next. Okay. That's like the hardest thing in the world. Right. It's kind of wild that this is like, it shouldn't be this hard. I don't think I can make that any tighter. It is what it is. All right, everybody. Sorry about that. Just doing some administrative tasks on the old microphone. So yeah, welcome in as always. Do share out the stream, by the way. Like I said to you yesterday, I have no idea what is going on with YouTube at the minute. Like, they are 100%, in my opinion, suppressing views, or certainly suppressing views on my channel. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, what I post, what my content is, what live stream is, what the title is, for whatever reason, it's just not pushing content for cryptocurrency. And I don't necessarily think it's just me, by the way. So let's absolutely give it a thumbs up. Let's like and share. Let's, make sure everyone's aware of what we're here, because I can imagine so many people are not getting notified that this live stream is on. So quick favor. In fact, I'm so much so, I'm going to tweet out, which I never really do, by the way, but I feel like so many people just don't know we're live at the minute. So anyway, it's been a fun all day in the market, as you would expect. And here we go. Right, let me just close this out. There we go. We are live now on YouTube, talking all things crypto. Okay, let's post that out anyway. Let's post that out. I'm tired of winning. Yeah, well, I mean, technically I am. Right, do me a favor then, everybody. Go and share that link out. Let's get rocking and rolling. So yeah, very interesting day here in the markets. The markets should have done one thing and they did the complete and utter opposite, which is kind of wild when you think about it. So we'll dive into that. We'll obviously get into a little bit in terms of what's going on, but look, I think the start of a 10 is absolutely getting into the charts here. So we'll do that. And then, like I said, TikTok, I'm going to get you guys all over this as well. So let me just move you so that you can see it. Let me move my hot drink as well. Always got to have a cup of tea. Right, there you go. There you go, TikTok. Can you guys see that? There you go. Perfect. All right, everybody. All right, so a couple of key things to think about. This is the no, it's not. This is the weekly chart here for Bitcoin, which is where we're going to start, okay? So we kind of haven't done this over the last couple of nights. We just sort of dived into it. We've just sort of gone, someone says I get both YouTube and TikTok notifications. All right, cool. Bullish on you, Selma. It's because you're a legend. That is why, though. Hey, guys, enjoying the flash sale, Mark Noby. Your family should have known it's a 2-bit party time. Exactly. I'm just like, bro, I need to go. My mood says, what's up, 2-bit? What's going on, bro? Welcome in. No Hypes here as well. Hey, early drop number 5. Let's get it, people bacon. As you can see, chat's back as well, everybody. So this was just it was definitely just a YouTube thing. So I don't know what happened, but chat is officially back. All right, guys, which is great news. So what can we see here and what are we looking at? Well, here's the Bitcoin price on a couple of key elements that I wanted to break up. Forget right now. In fact, I'm going to turn the VPVR off because it's just kind of in the way a little bit. And we want to just kind of look here at the real macro sentiment going on in the market. So however you look at this, however you wash it up, however you want to try and kid yourself that it's doing something that it's not, the reality is that this is still very bearish. And actually, we're seeing some very key points. This is one point. This is down from the 2022 correction. All-time high here on BTC, the 2021 bull market cycle, followed by a pretty heavy correction down to the first stop around 19,000 before we came down. And obviously, this is, FTX collapse here. What do you note here, though? Whenever we break below the 200-day exponential moving average, this is generally signaling the last move towards the bottom. What are we seeing right now? Yeah, that's right. We are absolutely seeing exactly the same thing. The breakdown on the 200-week exponential moving average. Now, what's interesting though is when we broke that to the actual bottom, we did another 40% in the market, which is kind of wild if you think about it. If we were to do something same, where do you get to? It's around $40,000, assuming that we did. But this is where it starts to get interesting on a macro. If you forget or you negate the FTX collapse, okay, you get about 22.5%. Well, where's 22.5% from where we are right now? That takes us to around $52,500. So this is exactly where I'm sitting. I'm still sitting on past cycle assumptions that things are pretty much playing out exactly as we expect. The only difference right now is where you see this correction back here. Actually, when you look at the stochastic RSI, yes, we were overbought, but this just pushed us lower for a very short period of time. Look at the difference here, though. Market sentiment is very bearish right now, which tells me that, yes, although we are going to go down further, it may not be as aggressive as I think people are pricing in. And today is probably a good example of that. When we look at the smaller time frames, a lot was telling us market should have dipped. We should have gone lower. And the answer is, well, we didn't. What's going on, TJ? Good to see you, man. Scott's Noid's in the building. Thank you so much for the heart maze. Tap, share, follow, repost, and join Tubit's free Discord, man. Casey's like one of the best mods you could ever ask for. But yeah, Scott knows what's going on, buddy. Welcome in as always. I appreciate you guys for tuning in as well. So this is a really interesting point right now that yes, we are bearish, albeit the signal is telling us, hey, there's a reversal coming in. Maybe, but not yet. Remember, we're here on the weekly candles. But this is exactly where we are. Now, you can go back in history as well, by the way. The 200-week moving average, whenever we have seen a break below, historically have then seen us move in a more bearish trend. When we above that, though, that signals a move back to the upside and then continuation to the upside as well. So look at this. Back here in 2013, off that bear market, we did dip below and then we wicked back up and we never went below the 200-week moving average until we broke a new all-time high and then came down. Exactly the same here back in 2019. You break below, we came back up, we retested, we get down very quickly. 2 weeks back above the 200-week moving average. The next time was the 2021 bull market cycle top. So pretty interesting as that kind of plays out. And like we said, right now, if we fast forward to exactly where we sit, you can see right now that yes, if you look on a broader market time frame, even if people are telling you, oh, we're going to the moon, we're not just at the minute. What's going on, Blair? Good to see you, man. Welcome in. And the only sense I hate to say it, but this is just life. But wherever there are, let's call it corrections in the market, these should absolutely be seen as opportunities to make sure that you are as well positioned as you possibly can be for the next bull market cycle. And that's exactly where we are. Remember, the view is that if you are below the 200-week moving average, so not the 200-week exponential moving average, just the 200-week moving average, that is deemed as a bear market. And that's exactly where we are. I don't know if I can actually put the 200-week moving average on. Let's see if I can. Maybe, is it going to let me do it? Okay, perfect. So here's the 200-week moving average here at the bottom end, albeit slightly different based on what we have, only from a simple fact of it's actually the moving average with the heap map mapping. This is probably not the right thing. We need to get rid of that one, actually. Maybe just put the 200 MA on. What's going on, Andy Baby? Good to see you, man. Bottom could very well be in. I mean, maybe. I still stand by the fact that I think we go lower. You guys know that we obviously have our zone here. I've actually locked this now so that it can't go anywhere. It's there, look. I have to unlock it if I want to do this. But yeah, this is where I sit, and this is exactly where I believe price is going to head back down. So when we go in a little bit nearer the 2-day chart, you can start to see a little bit more consolidation. Again, sits and perfectly aligns to what we've been talking about. Very much still within a bearish trend. The only slight marginal difference is this, but this actually confirms, in my opinion, that we've got further downside. This is bearish momentum here from the 100-week moving average crossing the 200. It's definitely a bearish trend. Again, if people want to tell you it's not, that's fine. So yeah, Damien, shout out for that. I just got a notification that says, Tubit Crypto's fan club has completed the first stage of the club quest and unlocked club cheers. All fans can now send it to celebrate. Let's go. I have no idea what that means, but it sounds cool. So this is definitely in a bearish trend, okay? Likewise with a lot of the other things. FYI, by the way, I did get the new Chart Prime AI stuff all set up. So more on that coming soon, by the way, but that could be pretty cool. We'll do that live on the show as well. So, and you guys are hopefully going to get access to that once we can get everything kind of working, but it's going to be pretty fun. So yeah, so here we go, BTC on the daily. Right. You can see here the M pattern that we've been touching on. And by the way, this is where I believe that this comes to the breakdown. The M pattern breakdown to this, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we set the trade, in my opinion. Now, this bottom end M pattern probably could do something like that. You're talking maybe, maybe a week's time, we could sort of potentially start to see this break. I think what's super interesting is when you start to look in terms of some of this trend, we are still very much below this trend line, and we need to sort of see this breakout. Macro actually feels a little bit better, but not so much. Still ways to make money and accumulate good stuff for the future. Yeah, 100%. Maybe the 50s no big either way, in my opinion. That's true. I mean, you'd rather top end of the 50s than lower end of the 50s. Like I said, though, this is my price target. So, literally just under 60K here on the bottom range and just under 62K. It gives me about a $2,000 range, of which that's where the trade certainly we were going. And equally, we'll be accumulating on those spot bags as well, because I think that's definitely worthwhile in the longer term as well. But this is where we sit. What's interesting is when we go into today, as a market, cycle. So we got a little bit of data, nothing super crazy on the jobs data. But when you look at this structure, this should have absolutely screamed bear market. And I actually shorted this market. I didn't short it with a big amount, and I was a bit unsure as to where it was going to go, if I'm dead honest. But yeah, I thought we would get a little bit more of a bounce. Now you have to understand this is obviously yesterday, so I mean, maybe we go on the 30-minute, it might give us a bit more of an indication. So obviously we got this kind of wick down here. This is obviously Wednesday where we we sort of talked about this, and then we sort of got this wick down up. So if you remember, we shorted from like here yesterday, the 200-week moving average, we shorted that. And then this did hit the stop on the way back up, which I think we set at like 66.5. So we netted like 155 bucks, something like that, nothing crazy. So then when I woke up, I was like, oh, this is weird. And then obviously saw this move back to the upside, back to the 100-week above the 50. And I thought, well, the market's been really volatile at the minute, and there isn't really a reason why this is going to kind of push any higher. So do you know what? I'm going to short the market again. The problem was my short came in, I think about here. So I saw this kind of wick down. We got the bounce back up, the push down again. I thought, right, this probably feels aligned to this support here. This generally was seen as a push down, a support there, look. I'm like, okay, this market definitely feels like it's going to short. And obviously it did. A really nice short into US Open, okay? Which I was like, okay, cool. European market selling off. No real reason. Lots of fear about, lots of fear. No, Tim, honestly, it's all right. Well, I mean, you could look at it one of two ways. Maybe it's a good time to buy. Maybe not. It's kind of where I'm at. We'll bring it up, Tim. I'll show you guys it. I did show it. Did I not show it yesterday? I feel like I did, but maybe not. So US Open down here. And then obviously look at this, it just wicks straight back up. Like, this makes no sense. Now, you can either do one of two things. You either increase your margin, you move your stop loss back, which I'm kind of in a world of, look, I'm not moving my stop loss. I don't want to be in a world where I'm starting to lose $1,000 on a trade, $2,000 on a trade. So I ended up losing about 300 net over the last 2 days, down about 120. So nothing super crazy. But yeah, this is interesting and may set up a very interesting Friday. Now, what do we have coming tomorrow? Potentially an announcement on tariffs. All right. So this could be one of those fake pump outs where they fake the pump to the upside. People pile into the longs. People are like, oh, well, they must know something we don't. The longs are going to be great. We're going to be absolutely cooking on gas. And then tomorrow you just get this nuke dump that's going to come in. Everyone's going to get liquidated. So it is an interesting one. And I'm only going to state my view here that, I'm not going to trade this market. I'm going to wait and see what happens. We're going to look for more obvious setups that we saw here yesterday. Now, the only one to note, though, is if we do make it back up, this will be a very interesting line that we could trade it from on a short trade. But my view is we'd be looking for some reason as to why that would be. I was just going to have a quick look and see what the trade maps look like just from a trading perspective. So yeah, kind of exactly how we were kind of talking about it. So look, you can see here, look, this is obviously where we've got. So the assumption is that very much the market's going to push down, even though we are now seeing this price go up. So we could see this push a little bit higher. Yeah, we could probably even see a potential retest here of the 200 at 67.5. Definitely start to just bring some people into this market and end up getting absolutely cooked as well. We did not have the Clarity Act coming up during the 2022 bear market. That's true. That's true. I mean, at the minute, though, we still don't have it yet. I know there's pushing for putting it through. Brad Carlinghouse will touch on his view on it. So, there is definitely a demand to try and get it through. It's not through yet, though. Yes, it's passed the House, hasn't passed the Senate yet. So, again, it's an important piece of legislation. They've got to get it through, though. They've got to get it through. Probably lows this cycle could correspond to the lows in 2019. Well, so some of you guys have been telling me 2019, 2020, 21. We're going to look at the comparison because I do think it's interesting when you start to look at some of these specifically and how they kind of play out. But this is kind of where I see BTC right now. Maybe it gets a little bit of a wake up. Maybe this then becomes the potential from a short. Again, I would trade very cautiously and very, very patiently. And I think, maybe that's probably where I should have learned a little bit. Albeit, we did get the wick down. This was perfect. This is actually exactly what we called. Just I wasn't expecting the US market to flip completely bullish, which is weird. But anyway, that gives you a view there. Now, overall market cap, to give you an idea, 2.28 trillion, back above the 50-day exponential moving average. Very, very interesting here. So could actually get a further bounce on BTC. Remember, if we hold above this 50, we normally get a little bit more of a stronger bounce. Again, you can see back here, look, we held above the 50, and then a nice little breakout as the 20-day EMA pushed up. Trend to the upside. You see exactly the same again here. We broke through the 50, trend to the upside. We do, however, generally speaking, break down below. And remember, if you go back to the weekly chart, we're still very much bearish on this market. So that's why I'm saying it's very, very wise to tread particularly careful as we walk through this. BTC dominance we didn't really look at, but it's continuing to move to the upside. Predictions are potentially it gets a reversal. I don't see it. I actually think we're going to see this kind of further push up. But what's interesting is you saw a decline in stablecoin dominance as well. So this market today was definitely not sensible. Now, the only thing to reference that could have been a direct indication of it is we got a big rally in stocks, which, again, wasn't really anything super crazy that came out. The only thing I can think is maybe overly fearful yesterday. And that's why we've seen sort of a bit of a bounce in. Obviously, had a couple. Apple selling off, nothing super crazy. Google selling off, very, very marginally, by the way. So I think this was definitely a driver of it, that actually stock markets felled up. Bonds continue to push down. This is good news, by the way. As much as people are like, bonds are seen as a safe asset, actually bonds and treasury yields coming down. That's fine. All right, I'm cool with that. But yeah, the Qs is a super weird one today. Look at this. So market open in the US was... where are we? What day is it today? Thursday. So market open was here. So we saw a big wick down on the Qs opening, and then, everyone kind of went bearish. Then we get the push back up. But what do you notice here? Rejection on the 50-day EMA, followed by then a push down. Right now, obviously, we close at the 20-day EMA. Expect futures markets to open tomorrow, and the Qs probably come down. Again, as we've seen many times, we saw this yesterday, we saw this on Wednesday, where, the Qs open and they dump. Pretty interesting, all right? Pretty interesting. Now, into a couple of altcoins just to kind of keep up to speed. ETH, I think, is worth noting, by the way, currently being rejected there on the 50-day, on the shorter time frame. And look, my view is at the minute, if you want to scalp, fine, but I'd stick to some longer time frames just to give you a better idea of where we sit. Solana up about 0.5%, which is kind of nice. XRP at 141. Again, though, within this range that we've been talking about. So look at XRP. Came down on the 12-hour, retested 138. We said exactly that last night when we talked about the Fibonacci's. We said, look, potentially XRP is still bearish. Understand this. There's still a push down in the market. And we said, didn't we, watch out for the bounce off 138. So exactly that. Kind of wild if you think about it, that we actually got on there as well. BNB's okay, and we don't need to too much. Sui keeps coming down. We were talking about this, Daniel, Waddy, and I, just about what the potentials are with this one. And, certainly, from my perspective, feels like a really good opportunity. Next, Crypto says, what's next? Well, we'll talk about that. Stick around, my man. I got you covered. So, I think Sui definitely showing its opportunity out there for sure. Not a lot going on the rest of it. AVAX got a little bit of a move, nothing super crazy. BCH continues. Will there be finance? Giving up most of those gains to a degree on the back of it. Hype starting to move. Remember, I talked about Hype as a one to watch. If it breaks here on the 100-day exponential moving average, definitely might see a little bit of a mover on Hype. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Canton Craig did get a big sell-off today. I don't know why, though. I forgive me. I don't know the answer, but that feels like a big whale exit. Dipped all the way to 14.5, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So Canton kind of definitely gone from an overbought territory to kind of pushing down, but that's a big wick down on Canton. So I'm not sure what happened just off the top of my head, but feels like a whale exit or a big liquidation of some kind. Not really too sure about it. But yeah, privacy starting to move again. Nothing too much going on. Pump, another one we've been talking about. Watch out, bouncing off the 786 Fibonacci look. Pump could give us a big move here. Worthwhile keeping your eyes peeled on that one. And then commodities, gold rallied a little bit, still with this Iran. And look, the reality is, if Iran's going to happen, it happens tomorrow. So, market closure, keep your eyes peeled. If it's going to happen, it happens tomorrow night. So worth noting, by the way, as we sort of sit with that. One to keep an eye out for, obviously, the gain in oil, telling us that speculation, obviously, people are starting to freak out that potentially Trump's going to go into Iran. All right, that's kind of where we sit right now in the overall market. We'll keep BTC up. Does it hold above 67 on the daily for a daily close above that? Could be interesting if it does. We will see as this plays out. Like I said, I did delete most of my chart stuff, so don't really have a lot on there. But yeah, worth noting in my opinion. All right. Right, TikTok, let me move you guys back over there so I can see what's going on. Sorry, that's my enormous face on the screen, so I do apologize. Don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Also, make sure that you do share the stream out, by the way. Like I said, YouTube, TikTok, it's all been super weird at the minute, so I'm not really sure why. Mike Bennett says, hello, Canton, big VC project. Yeah, I know there's a lot of money. I know there's a lot of money in it at that launch. So, all right, good. Let's get into a little bit more then. Let's talk a little bit about what are people predicting. And is this, as we were talking about though, at the very start of this stream, the 200-week moving average going to be the last move? And then we'll talk about Brad Garlinghouse and what his view specifically on the market structure bill was. So we got a very interesting chart here telling us that, look, we're in the same pattern. You guys are obviously talking about this, 2022, 2019 we'll look at as well. So if you look at the pattern here back to 2022, and I feel like this is where it gets annoying because you guys need to see this, TikTok, and you can't see this. The only way you can see that is if I turn the screen, and then that means I can't see you. So it always gets a bit annoying, actually. Okay, let me move you here. Let me move you here, because you probably need to see it. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself, and it just makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, there you go. So what you can see here is back to 2022. We got, obviously, the double top that we said, 65K. So essentially, the lower high, 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 low. You know, the old traditional. And then you got the accumulation phase here, obviously FTX in the middle there, and then obviously we rallied back up. And what's happening right now is exactly the same. Now, this is where you get the assumption that we're going to see a push down, but you got the double top, maybe not quite as crazy, but it's exactly, and we've even looked at this on the chart, by the way. You can literally put it into your own charts, and it does look exactly the same. So if history is about to play out, then yes, we do have a further push down in the market, as we've been talking about now forever. And even though people are saying we're wrong, I just can't believe that we are. In my opinion, all right? We could be wrong. Of course, we could be wrong. But yeah, so interesting. 110 and then 126, the all-time high, followed by then, like you said, the exact same pattern and structure that's coming in. So we probably then end up with, you know, maybe 4 to 8 weeks of a, you know, if they move to the side before, hopefully then we sort of see a blast off. And I think what'll be interesting is, obviously, we won't go as low as we've been. And I was listening to, I think it was Eric Trump saying that they think this is the last time Bitcoin will ever be 100,000. It might be Donald Trump Jr. I can't remember. Love the show. Can we check SNX Synthetic tier, please? Yes. Stick around for about another 12 minutes and we'll do it because I'm just going to run through some charts and some news here. So, yeah, stick around. We'll definitely bring it up for sure. But yeah, interesting. This is kind of playing out. We talked about that. So when you then look at the comparable of bear markets, so this takes us all the way back to 2016, obviously coming off the top of the bear markets and what they look like. You can see here, look. So 2016, obviously the move then to the all-time high for the 2019 and 2017 bull market cycle top, sorry. And then the correction back down. Likewise for 2021, exactly the same. And then equally right now, you know, we can almost clarify exactly where we are right now. Yes, this is a bearish market. Yes, we should be looking at what it is that's going to happen next. And well, history generally tells us that it's going to rhyme. That tells us obviously we've got a little bit further. Red Capital saying Bitcoin bear market progress 33%. Again, aligns to exactly what we've been talking about, which is this continuation to the downside, followed by hopefully that move to the upside. Now, some of you, I think you were talking about the 2021 comparison. Well, look at that. That literally plays out exactly how we've been talking about. So the 2021 bull market cycle, the 3-peaker, followed by then the push down, FTX here, accumulation, followed by that rally back up. Exactly the same is happening. Oh, so you were 2019. So you're this one. And then obviously then 2021 playing out exactly as this is kind of playing out as well. So, you know, I think a lot of indications right now tell us that we're coming down. What's interesting, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I don't know. Yeah, who was telling us 2021? I can't remember then. I think it was Fat Sonic maybe. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I'm just starting to see the lower end of people's price predictions all start to come up a little bit. Remember, so many people are like $30,000 Bitcoin, $33,000 Bitcoin. We're all going to zero. Like all of a sudden, it's just starting to wick up. Everyone's like, oh, well, I think it could be like 50,000 and a half. You know, we've never been that bearish, but interesting that people are starting to just revise their potential bear market cycle price target. So, you know, interesting as this kind of washes through. again, aligns to that we are probably going to see a further push down in the market. Now, what is interesting, however, is when you start to look at the cycle. So you can go all the way back to 2019, the bear market of 2019. And you can see here from the bull of 21K, how this all kind of plays out. And, well, more importantly, what it looks like. Guess what? They're predicting that there's about a $55,000 to $60,000 price range on this bottom, 50K, followed by then a further push to the upside. Is history about to repeat itself? Well, certainly indications are that we may just have a little bit longer to go before we then start to see the blast off. This could align to the mid-year point of 2026, because we're not going to go from the bottom of like 55K or 58K, whatever it is, and then all of a sudden we're going to be at $100,000 by the end of the year. But what we'll see is a continuation, a slow grind back to the upside. And if this pattern plays out as it has done, the same as if you put it the other way and you could measure the top, as we've seen a number of times before, that the Pico peak generally hits a very, very similar kind of pattern. Good. Mode says, I won't trust anything you say until you say you're selling, and that way I know it's going to go up. I'm mostly in stablecoin. Well, I'm like 55% in stablecoin anyway. What's going on, buddy? 2018, the only cycle that ended up a par instead of euphoria. And it's just like the last bull market. That's very true, actually. Yeah, that's very, very true. That we ended the market just on a, like a silent fart in a corridor. Like just no one really heard it and no one really cared. But yeah, this could play out very favorably as we sort of walk through. So, given the technical standpoints are telling us that, well, lots of indications are saying, hey, you are definitely going to see some further push downs. The bottom isn't in my opinion, just yet. There's too much telling us that the bottom's not in, but that doesn't mean that there isn't things to be slightly more optimistic about. But at the same time, understand how this broader market is playing out. In order to understand that, we have to go here and look at gold. So again, we talk about the fact that people are just aping into gold like crazy people. Again, my opinion, by the way, I just don't think this goes anywhere else. And actually, this is starting to print just a little bit of a bearish flag right now. So, keep your eye out here on gold. We could definitely get, this breakdown here. Gold might wick up, 5,000, bring some late longs into it, then dump back down. Obviously, as we head towards sort of, back end of next week, and then potentially we sort of see this further push down to the market. Maybe, all right? Gold feels like it's setting up for a very obvious one. I mean, you could even take that from the absolute top. I mean, it's not quite as aggressive and probably doesn't really make any sense at that level, but you take gold from here, minus the wick, starting to play out a pretty interesting chart here on gold. So, I think this kind of pushed down. Now, why do I think this is important, by the way? Because we got another announcement. The US Treasury just bought back $1.56 billion of their own debt. All right, pretty interesting. The question, though, is why? Why are the US Treasury still buying back debt? What does this mean for the Federal Reserve, by the way? Well, the fact is they are trying to consolidate spending, trying to kind of make sure that it's kind of all brought together and then, well, get ready to support the economy. We sort of got a little bit of hint. We talked through the FOMC meeting minutes yesterday, just as to what that looks like. And actually what we do know is that, Kevin Walsh is going to come in. He's not going to get a free ride. He's not going to be able to walk in and go, oh yeah, I'm just going to dump rates because, Trump wants it. Pretty interesting. So, the Fed's still doing what it needs to do, still managing monetary policy, but at the same time, recycling money. This essentially is putting money into the market. The other thing to understand as well, by the way, is the repo debt. Here we go. Overnight repurchase agreement from the securities measure. Now, lots of people are saying, hey, the bank's liquidity is once again starting to dry up. And that may be true. But for me, I'm not seeing it right now. We got about $632 million, by the way, that kind of came in. So, interesting that kind of came here. Lots of people are saying, well, the bank liquidity is a problem. Doesn't look like it at the minute. This is obviously telling us that liquidity in the banks is a little bit more favorable. All right, so keep your eyes on those two things. Important. Right, let's get into what Brad Garlinghouse has been talking about. Let's get into why this is important. Fear and greed at 9. Bro, what is all that about? Yeah, Blair, it's terrible. Fear and greed is not good. Bull run soon. I mean, not too soon. Okay. So I don't have any more charts for the minute. So TikTok, you can see my face. All right. So I hate TikTok. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody tuning in, by the way. Do me a favor. Make sure to just chop in a few likes on the stream. Massively helps out. Like I said, this suppression or whatever the heck it is at the minute is not going to win. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Join our free Discord, by the way. Link in the bio. Brad Garlinghouse says, look out around March 1st. Get it, Fairground. So yeah. Brad Gallen was tweeting this, by the way. He said, great to be back on with Maria Baratiroma. What? How do you pronounce her name? Baratiroma. I think it is. Maria Baratiroma. Discussing Ripple's banner year and accelerating momentum as we start 2026. Already, we are actively seeing boards and CEOs pushing their CFOs and treasuries to understand how they can leverage the benefits from stablecoins for corporate. There's no question that stablecoins are the gateway into crypto institutional adoption, real world utility. Talking specifically here about the Clarity Act, which you're expecting. Now, permissionless DEX went live on XRPL as well, which is kind of cool. Like when you look at it, and I don't know if I fully understood exactly the importance of these permission DEX. It's crazy, like seriously. I mean, it's as crazy as this Clodbot thing that I've been looking at today. Because I was thinking about getting a Clodbot, but apparently it can like take over your friggin' machine and do all sorts of crazy shit. So I'm not doing that just yet. But when I looked at permissioned DEXs and I tried to understand, okay, what is the importance of them and how are they going to really make sure that this kind of plays out? Well, it's super, super interesting. Bartiroma. Is that what it is, Joe? Thanks, mate. Bartiroma. Maria Bartiroma. Is that what it is? Okay. So when you understand what permissioned DEX really is and what this kind of works and how it does, it is essentially a massive tick in the box for a banking system. Think about how the banks transact money. Think about what they do. Permission DEXs essentially means that you can go and institutionally buy XRP and it's all kept on chain and only certain wallets and approved accounts can actually transact on a open blockchain like XRPL. What? That's where it starts to get pretty wild. So, you know, no wonder Brad's a bit like, get the Clarity Act signed in because we know the banking sector is absolutely desperate to get into blockchain, or more specifically, get into public blockchains, while at the same time using permissionless DEXs. So no one else has got this technology, or no one else is using it, by the way. So you look at like Ethereum or whatever, no one else doing it. It's insane, right? XRPL, as I've talked about for the last 2 years, is going to be the big driver of XRP and Ripple. The only thing I would like to see, I think, is a real utility for the XRP token on XRPL. I'd really like to see how that can kind of play out. But look, at the same time, if that is going to be the way that monetary value is transferred across the XRPL, well then screw it. Brilliant. Let's absolutely full send it. So yeah, great news. At the same time, XRP Healthcare, the first healthcare platform on the XRP ledger and the first to integrate AI. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, bro. I don't care about healthcare and I don't care about AI on XRPL, but when you understand the importance of this, it's kind of where you start to get in this world where I'm like, people just need to watch my content because I'm trying to get some really good content out there that people just simply don't care about, and I don't understand why. And I'm not wallowing in a pool of self-pity, by the way, because I'm not. But what's going on, Magic Craig? Good to see you, buddy. Getting investment advice from Dennis is like taking life advice from the crazy guy screaming about the Raptor and the town. Who the hell is Dennis? I do hope everything's trying to better their financial situation, succeeds in this crazy earth. Sandwich Man, you have got one of the best names ever. So yeah, thank you for those kind comments, man. All I will say is, you know, this community that I know of, and certainly my thesis of how we operate in this world, we're going to do everything we can to make sure as a community, as a group of friends, as peers, we win. And yeah, we did all right in the last bull market cycle. We got cut short on October the 6th, but we're here again. We're ready. We're locking and loading. I saw a statistic earlier on, by the way, and it said 63% decline in YouTube cryptocurrency content. They've all gone again. They've all gone. But you know, baby, I'm going to be turning up every night. We're going to be making it happen. We're dialed into this market and we are not letting it go. So anyway, back to my original point. Why is this important? Well, this is where you start getting into the world of being able to use prescriptions, being able to assess people from a health perspective, but keep everything secure. Would you trust Solana like that? Don't think so. All right. Don't think so. Pretty interesting if you ask me. Pretty interesting if you ask me. And then with all of that, you start to see, whoa, hold on a minute. There's some pretty big money coming here. Societe Generale are now dumping huge amounts of money into this market. For example, $1 trillion Societe Generale has expanded its Euro stablecoin EUR convertible to the XRP ledger. So hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Put your tinfoil hats on for just a split second, everybody. So permissionless DEX have gone live, which essentially allows any permissioned offer which will be banks, institutions, to basically make sure that there is a secure transaction on open blockchain. So for example, the banks to their customers can support open transactional financial movement. Okay, cool. And then Societe Generale have come and dumped $1 trillion or are about to convert their euro stablecoin onto the XRP ledger, as well as the now broader market from an AI healthcare perspective are all dropping onto XRPL. All right, cool. And how much is XRP again? It's at $1.41. Hey, great news. Feels like a fucking bargain, right? I'm only kidding. It's not financial advice. You know it's not financial advice. This channel is just me, just a guy from the Godzone County of Yorkshire talking about cryptocurrency. All right, let me know where you guys are from. Amanda, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Hey, lots of people jumping into the TikTok. Stick around. Honestly, if you don't enjoy it, cool. Scroll on. If you are, then it's definitely worth it. Drop a follow, hit a like button. You know all the things. The Chicago Bulls, haven't they moved to... I can't believe I even know this, but haven't they moved to somewhere else? Is it the Chicago Bears? Is that right? The Chicago Bears are now no longer in Chicago. Am I making that up, or is that right? I feel like I'm not making that up, and it's actually right. I believe in XRP, Curtis, but appreciate other people's views. If they like Bitcoin, they're good on them. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Look, that's what, in my opinion, makes this channel great, and it's what makes this community great, is that, hey, we can all just agree to disagree. And, you know, some people might be super bullish on Ars Crackinu, and some people might think it's the worst coin on the planet. Each to their own. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, do what you want to do. By the way, don't forget, do join our free Discord. I was talking about this earlier on. We do have some cool stuff in there. We've got a couple more guides coming out as well. So if you are new to trading, by the way, we're going to get you some new guides in there. And like I said earlier, I'm just finalizing some details to be able to access a fully on-chain AI system that you guys will be getting for free if you are in the premium Discord. It's worth about $3,000. So again, you get to test it, try it out, maybe you buy it, whatever. So yeah, keep your eyes out, but it's coming soon. It's worth it. It's $6.50. You guys definitely will piss that up at the wall on some sort of nonsense. So feel free to join it. Head to the bottom of the screen, click join, become a channel member, get into the Discord. Totally worth it. All right. So with XRP looking pretty good, what else has been going on that is worth noting? Well, 83% chance now of the Clarity Act signed into law. This is exactly what Brad Garlinghouse was talking about. And my view was this is why he was so bullish. Now, the point why Brad Garlinghouse is actually worthwhile thinking about in this is he's been as close to the administration since day one. We all know the picture of him and Stuart Aldertree all stood in front of the fire. So Brad's probably going to know some stuff's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? He's going to know what's happening. So worthwhile keep an eye on this. But yeah, it could be great news if you ask me. All right, cool. Okay, a couple of other little headlines for you. The financial giant CME is now announcing unprecedented new developments for cryptocurrency. What? The CME Group announced a new development that will enable crypto products to operate within a 24/7 traditional finance system. XRP doing well? Not well. I mean, it's 141. Is it doing well versus its all-time high? No. However, if you were to take all-time, well, I say all-time high. Let's take the top of the range here at on XRP, which would have been what, 369 to the current price. It's down about 61%. Down about 61%. So you're like, okay, BTC 126 to current price is down 47%. But you could look at some other altcoins. Let's take Cardano, for example. Where did Cardano take us from? $1 down 73%. So in the grand scheme of things, actually, from an altcoin perspective, XRP is doing all right. Where I think people will maybe make a bad choice is that people assume XRP is going to be the same as it's been in every single bear market, but actually it's very different. Remember, they've spent $3 billion buying loads of new companies, loads of stuff's been built, and I keep saying this statement. XRP, people focus on the price so much, and I get it, because we all want the price to go up. Like, I'm not naive to the fact here that, look, if prices are going down, I'm losing money. Like, I'm not about just losing money for a laugh. That's not my game. Certainly not my game plan getting into this market either. But XRP, I've always said, is slightly different and could be one of those coins that you wake up and all of a sudden it's done 30% because they've announced a massive partnership with Bank of America that are now going to start using on-chain to move money around for their customers. Like, imagine what happens at that point. Are you ever going to get that with BNB? No. Are you ever going to get that with Solana? No. Are you ever going to get it with Bitcoin? No. So that's why I think XRP is just a little bit different. And my view, for what it's worth, people don't have to do what I do. I'd rather be in XRP than not. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Chicago Bears are staying in Chicago. Their new stadium is being built in Arlington Heights. Oh, nice. I thought I'd seen something about them moving out. Anyway, the issue with BTC Max is they only believe in BTC. However, Even XRP maxes believe in other altcoins. True. I mean, my view is people can just believe what they are. Alex says it's just a waiting game. I agree. But like I said, if you think about Bitcoin, we've got institutional buying. I mean, I saw something earlier on that was like, oh, Bitcoin has been in the bear market since like, Trump inauguration day. You're like, what the hell? Like, really? That would put us at, well, the bottom's in the next 4 weeks, which is even more insane when you think about it. So anyway, but another tick in the box here. Look, CME now going to trade 24/7. That means the NASDAQ, in my opinion, will come soon. But Tim McCoy is the global head of equities, foreign exchange, and alternatives at the CME, said this. Demand for risk management in the digital asset market is at a peak. Not every market is suitable for 24/7 trading. However, providing continuous access to our regulated and transparent crypto products enables our clients to manage their exposure securely at any time. Think about it. You're telling me that people that are now starting to just dip their toe into the crypto market, and now the CME group are going, yeah, we'll offer 24/7 trading. Don't worry about it. Of course you will. Of course you will. And then finally, look at this. This all is definitely heading to what we expect to get next week. But crypto market braces for volatility as the key decisions loom. We know volatility's here. We thrive on that freaking volatility. Cryptocurrencies expect increased volatility on Friday due to major US political and economic decisions. What are they? Is Trump going to bomb Iran tomorrow? That's how you got it. I know people might go, oh my God, Tuba, it's a bit out there. But we all know that Trump likes to go and do things on a Friday, whether it's a massive tariff announcement, whether it's going in on Iran, and whether it's going in on Venezuela. Like, what the hell? Like, Fridays are bad news. So as long as we make it to tomorrow night's stream and Trump hasn't gone into Iran, which was kind of my thought, by the way, my short trade today, I was like, he's definitely going to Iran. Then we could be fine. Obviously, tariffs. Now, are the two going to be connected? If they announce that tariffs are then illegal, is Trump just going to take some frustration out on Iran? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, institutional interest stays steady for Chainlink while SHIB risks deepening in its bear market. I'm just going to call it. Craig, you might not like it. There's no way on this earth I'd be buying Shiba Inu right now. I feel like it's just totally and utterly done. Like, done. I mean, I don't know what the volume is on it, but man, SHIB looks painful right now. Super painful on Shiba Inu. I mean, it's pretty much back to the lows of 2021 before it got that absolute insanity raise. And then obviously it's dumped ever since. So yeah, be mindful if you're trading SHIB. I mean, Pepe probably isn't that much better, but from launch to where it is right now, we're still holding up a little bit on there. Yeah, Tomato PM probably more aligned to you. Daniel, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in, mate. Good to see you, pal. Good to see you. And yeah, shout out to all the fam tuning in on TikTok as well. I appreciate it. Nearly 10,000 likes. Guys, you're crushing it right now. And well over 100 people here on the YouTube live well. So shout out to everybody. People might not like people might not like my videos, but hey, the live streams are cooking right now. So good stuff. Okay. What does that take us to? What time is it? Man, it's 20 to 10 already. Well, these live streams fly by. We need to get to a 2-hour live stream, everybody. When can that happen? When can we go to 2-hour live streams? Right. Okay. Well, let's keep an eye on what's going on with BTC. I think we're all pretty much dialed into this. And look, the daily candle crazily is actually going to be green, which is just wild and not at all what I expected to happen. 2-Bit Wes, where in the UK are you based? I'm in God's County in Yorkshire, my friend. That's where I'm at. So northern part, east of Manchester. Yeah. Too late, it's been done. I'm underwater. Just paying the time is all I need. I mean, look, it'll get a run, but we were talking about this on, hey, Scott's Nose, thank you so much, man, I appreciate it. We were talking about this on Wednesday. By the way, we're definitely going to be hooking up a bit more of a strategic show. So Daniel, Gate, and many of you guys know who DG is, as well as Wadi Crypto, myself, and Vern, are going to be sort of hooking up a little bit of a kind of like, I don't know, a little bit of a roundtable-y kind of thing, Wednesday nights on TikTok. We may try and do something else and one other day of the week. But yeah, that's going to be a thing. So we'll do this show. We'll finish the normal show, and then we're going to hook up with those guys every Wednesday to kind of bring you guys just a little bit more of a, like, chat on anything and everything. I mean, we ended up talking about YouTube. We ended up talking about scams and bots. Like, it was kind of cool. Like, honestly, it was a really good hour-and-a-half chat. So look out for that. Wednesday nights, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on TikTok. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I mean, you're in Barnes, bro. We're literally not far away from each other. Hey up, lad, from Barnsley. Man, I haven't been to Barnsley for ages. I did actually have a night out in Barnsley a while back. It was wild. Great, actually. This info is so golden. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at your... I see what you've done there, by the way. Nice little tactic. Tell me what the coin was again, and we'll bring it up. Clarity App might be the black swan. Never trust governments. That's true, but... Up or down? I mean, I generally thought down today. I shorted the market and got liquidated. Well, I got my stop loss hit, but TJ's in Sheffield. Oh, from Blackburn. Let's go. Love it. Man, I love the UK audience. We need more people in the crypto market, which would be great. But yeah, I mean, I'm still long-term bearish, by the way. So I still think we go down. Price target is anything between 59,500 and 62K. That's where the big YouTube six-figure trade comes in here on the channel. So we need another viewer, by the way. We've got 666 views on this stream right now, which I don't like, FYI. So if anyone knows anyone else that can join, just get them to join dead quick. Oh, man. Do you get paid by viewers activity, or does stream length have any contribution No, it's fine. So you get, basically how it works is you get paid for length of viewing, number of views. How active your chat is then drives how much they push you on the platform. So yeah, and super chats obviously, yeah, but never expected, always grateful. But yeah, the more people that are here, the more people that interact with the stream, and look, I do generally like interacting with people, but yeah, if people are chatting, then it just pushes the algorithm up a little bit more. I just joined in originally from the north. Yeah, 2 hour. Yeah, 2 hour would be beneficial. Yeah, of course it would. As long as you can sustain more, viewership. And so like right now, as an example, we've got like 110 people. The chat rate's up though, because you guys are chatting away, and average view duration is about 508. So yeah, so like it's an okay run. I mean, I could run ads in the middle of it, but no one wants an ad in the middle of a stream. It's super annoying, isn't it? But yeah. Anyway, all right. So let's take a look at really quick. What was that project you wanted to take a look at? I can't remember what it was. It was like SHX or something, wasn't it? What is it? SNX. That was it, wasn't it? SNX. SNXA. Controversy makes money. Yeah. I mean, look, I've never been one for getting involved with it. I occasionally... have I ever had any beef with anyone? I don't think I have, actually. I just can't be bothered with it. Like, when people like go at each other, it's just like, oh, bro, come on, like, just move on. No one needs to kind of be getting arsey about it. There's enough problems in the world right now without, people arguing. This is my view. Just my view. Right. So SNX, here it is. Look, what do we think about this? I need to hit the refresh. Did we look at this before? SH, is it still going, Tim? Can't believe you told me to sell that. I'm thinking 55K bottom for BTC in March, April. Yeah, look, I could buy into that, definitely. I could definitely buy into that. Okay, SNX, currently ranked the number 173 ranked cryptocurrency. It's up 16% of the day. My ask would be, okay, so it's up because Robinhood are going to list it, right? Is that what we're saying? Robinhood are about to list it. My personal opinion is the chart's awful. The volume, albeit, is up. Robinhood are listing it. Why are Robinhood listing it? SNX is breaking out above the descending resistance on the daily chart. I mean, the chart's awful. Awful, in my opinion. SNX using KuCoin chart. It's been, it has more history on KuCoin for SNX, the monthly candles. Well, this goes back to 2018. So, I mean, it's pretty, like... The only thing I would say is, my only view, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but anything that's done this, that had a price point of $28.55 back in 2020, that currently sits at 34 cents, which is 98.78% down, it needs to literally change everything about the way it operates to get back up here. Like, if you bought up here, you are screwed on this coin. Just my opinion, but it's at market lows. I mean, how much lower can it actually go? Yeah, so not my thing, really. Never buy any new listing. They always retrace. 100%. Can you look at XDC? Yeah, we can. We actually have the XDC chart. Do you want to see it as well? XDC, there it is. Now, I always looked at XDC, and if you remember, I wanted to get some. I really like what it stands for, but the chart for me never delivered. Never delivered. Hold on, we might just have a bit of breaking news coming in right now. Let me just check this out. Let me just check this real quick. Update. SEC Chair Paul Atkins plans to fast-track some crypto products, temporarily allowing certain tokenized securities to trade while long-term rules develop. Ooh. BlackRock must be filing for another ETF. Just saying. Just saying. But right, okay, Craig, cool. Oh, love it. Love it. Yeah, I feel I'm probably the same on Pepe. Not quite there, but similar. 2-bit, I'm flying to the Seychelles tomorrow at 1:15 from Manchester. Keep an eye out for me. Yeah, I will do, bro. 1:15 from Manchester. Nice. AM or PM? Or PM. I think it's the Seychelles, bro. I'm jealous. I am jealous. Mr. Zaldi, thanks for the follow. I appreciate that, my man. Appreciate it. Yeah, so XDC. Sorry, I was going to show you guys, wasn't I? So, yeah, XDC. There's the chart for XDC. It doesn't look particularly great, just FYI. And again, you have definitely got this descending wedge. So we need to see a breakout here. If you want to see anything on XDC, which, like I said, doesn't feel particularly wonderful. And if you fib this, it is obviously just... oh, we need to not do it from there, actually. That doesn't make any sense to do it from that point. If we fib this from the lower part, so this is kind of the last move here. Where do we sort of get to? You know, holding the 236. It has to hold the 236 or you come lower. And you could be even pricing in something like 3.4 or even the lower range of 2.9. So yeah, XTC looks pretty bearish right now, down 4% on the day as well. So, you know, be very mindful. Some of these fringer coins, and I bet if we looked at XDC, just as an example, I bet its volume's absolutely awful right now. Just my guess, by the way. I don't know, but I bet it's awful. The volume's up 10%, but 16 million. I mean, it's just not happening, is it, right now? It is not happening. Volume is particularly rubbish. Can we put volume on here? Volume. Oh, we can. Nice. Nice. So, yeah, I mean, look, yes, we've had a bit of a bigger spike in volume, but it's all sell pressure right now. And why is this going to change? Yeah. Yeah, just my opinion. Just my opinion. Right. Cool. Live chat is what I need to do. Ver says, 2-bit. Oh, I said that, didn't I? He does have a bit of ETH also. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, 2-bit, what's the news for tomorrow? There is a lot of news for tomorrow other than potential tariff announcements by the Supreme Court. Whether that's actually going to happen or not, then I don't know. But, and also that obviously the continuous threat that Trump might go into Iran is also the other bit. Ooh, says my Ben Cohen comment I see. Not cool, bruv. What Ben Cohen? What comment? I don't see it. I don't see it at all, by the way. What censored it? Or who censored it? I don't see it at all. That normally I can see like a comment removed, but I don't see a comment removed at all. What did it say? Put it back in again. Obviously, as long as it's not like nasty. No, not me. There. I can't even see it. I can't even see it, so. Let's go on Fairground. Thoughts on Algo? I mean, I like Algorand. I just think it's in the same category as HBAR, XDC, XLM, all these coins that are just like, just flat. It depends what did you say there? But I've definitely not commented. I definitely haven't removed anything. I don't do it anyway. If any comments ever get removed, it's the moderators that do it. And you can normally see it, and I can't see a single comment removed on my live feed. So that didn't, it wasn't any of us. I could tell I liked the stream last week. What? I said Ben Cohen is the best analyst in crypto. I haven't actually watched a lot of his content. I saw a little bit the other day, but I haven't watched a lot, in fairness. But yeah, I saw there was quite a bit of beef with him and someone else on YouTube. Sorry, on X. A couple of people called him out. It's like the same though with everything, isn't it? I mean, so many people can be in a world where they just can form a narrative and just not get out of it. So yeah, so look at this. US strikes by Iran. So the minute, what is the biggest date they think is going to happen? So by December 31st. Okay. So yeah, so I mean, less so it's going to happen tonight. I mean, I'm surprised actually. That's, you know, I mean, is he going to go in Iran? I don't know. Interesting as that one sits. Yeah. I mean, Prince Andrew's definitely not a good thing either. Like, but hey, let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's not go down that one. Pretty wild. But tariff. I was still going to see if there was a tariff one as well. I mean, not that this makes any sense, by the way. I mean, this is how much prediction markets are insane. Will Jesus Christ return before 2027? Got like $29 million worth of volume on it. It's like, oh my God, prediction markets are wild. They're absolutely insane. So anyway, keep your eyes on that. Right, let's bring Bitcoin back up. Let's see if we're seeing anything, maybe on a lower time frame, anything starting to play out here. Obviously, we touched on this the other night, and I think I logged out of my Bitunix account. Oh, no, I didn't. I'm still in it. All right, cool. Nice. Nice. So if we see anything we like, we can take a look at it. Jim Bob says, I'm tempted to sell it all and buy back when it drops after Trump drops. I mean, it's a big risk, though, isn't it? What happens if he doesn't? What happens if he doesn't? And then it's like, it's fine. Okay, so here is Bitunix. You can see some of these trades that we took there. So look, there's the sell trade that we absolutely nailed. This was the one I got stopped out on, which is super annoying, by the way. But hey, it is what it is. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. Is anything playing out right now? It doesn't feel like it, does it? Doesn't feel like it here on the 15-minute chart. So, I mean, we weren't far off this kind of push here. Does it mean that this is bearish? Actually, there's an argument to say, look, there's a little bit of bullish momentum here. Little bit of bullish momentum. So, we could, I guess if we lose this, I mean, this could be the short trade. Maybe I short traded this back, by the way. Revenge trade. Trade it off the 67K. If this breaks here, wicks back up to 67, might be a little bit of a cheeky one. 67 takes us marginally to the top of the range. So you could argue for a range here and say, well, at 67K could be a break back above and then a push down. Maybe. Does feel like it's at the top, similar to kind of the bottom there. This becomes the new range. Similar here, look, bottom, top. Yeah, maybe that's a tempter. Maybe that's a tempter. Push back up, 67K down. Fairground, that's all I've been doing for 5 years. Stay strong. I mean, that's true, Jim Bob, as well. So, yeah. Man, Lee, bro, thank you so much for the £20 donation. Holy shit. It says, buy yourself a couple of pints. Mate, thank you so much. Appreciate that, my man. Hey, have a great holiday, bro. What, yeah? And if you want to make us jealous, by the way, do send me a picture and we'll post it on the, we'll bring it up on the stream. Bro, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. What a kind gesture. Thank you so much for the 20, bro. Love it. I actually will definitely take you up on that, and I'll definitely go and get myself a couple of pints. But yeah, shout out to you, buddy. And like I said, get me on X. If you sat there by the beach, sunning yourself with a delightful cocktail, send us some pictures and we'll put it up on the stream. Be like, hey, look where Lee is. So yeah, I mean, this could be an interesting one. If we definitely get a little push up here on the market, it might be a spacey one. So, breaking news, by the way, President Trump is weighing an initial limited strike on Iran to force Tehran to meet the demands for the nuclear deal, per the Wall Street Journal. Oh, dear. I swear to God, if this dips to like 95K, I'm going to 65K, I'm going to be so annoyed because I literally was in a world where that was it and I just didn't, I got stopped out here. I mean, fairness, I think my stop was at like 66,800 or something like that. Bro, I think I'm going to set this up, actually. I'm going to go 67010 because I feel like if this kind of does get a bit tasty, then I'm going to do it. Let's do it with that. Let's do take profit at the lower range here, 65,700. And stop loss at the top end, 67,500. Let's do it that, $64. Okay. I'm going to open that short. Let's do it. Let's do it and see where we get to. 5x open shot. Yeah, cool. Okay, let's see if we get it. We might get this. We might not. Let's see. If this does wick up on, and it would be a proper wick. Like, this would be trying to get those late short sellers in. If we get the wick, then, yeah, we might actually play out. This might play out nicely and favorable. If we get it. I mean, assuming that assuming that Trump, well, assuming the Wall Street Journal is true. Can I bring the Wall Street Journal up? Wall Street Journal up. You have to sign. Is it like an account-based thing, this, or not? Look at that. That's a terrible picture, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah, here we go. Look, so as per the Trump... so President Trump... Oh, come on, sort your life out. What's going on? Here we go. Here we go. Let's see what's going on. I was going to tell me do I have to pay for this? Oh my God, what's going on? What is going on here? I mean, he had a meeting with the peace people as well today, which is wild. I was reading a report today about Putin gives 12 million or something to Trump for something. Really? For something. You have to subscribe. Oh, bro, come on. Oh, how long was this? Is this just like a little snippet? 1 minute and 11. Okay, let's bring this up right now. Can you guys hear that? Oh, it's not coming through. Why is it not coming through? President considers a range of military options, but has still said he prefers diplomacy. Right. Washington President is when initially limited military strength in Iran to force it demands the nuclear deal. First step would be designed to pressure Tehran into an argument, but fall short of full-scale attack that could inspire a major retaliation. I mean, I've said this a number of times. I just don't see a world where if Trump goes in, where Iran retaliates. I think that would be crazy. I mean, I don't think Trump should go in, by the way. I'm sure that there is other ways that we can fix this, but yeah. Anyway, we're watching this. Maybe we get this wick up. Maybe. It doesn't feel like it in a minute. Andrew, like that. Yeah, it's wild, isn't it? It's wild. Wall Street Journal. It's an old school newspaper. I think Wall Street Journal use it. Okay. I thought did they not have like an X account? Oh, there we are. The Wall Street Journal. Man, I'm not following them. Follow. So 6 minutes ago. Okay, that's nonsense. Okay, so yeah, President Trump is weighing an initial limit strike on Iran to force Iran. But when I click on it, it's just going to tell me I've got to go to the Wall Street Journal and become a subscriber. Oh, come on, that's the worst thing. How much is it? Subscribe. Let's find out. High drama in the monarchy. Ah, bro. I mean, it's wild, isn't it, if you think about it? Like, it is actually pretty wild. It's £3 a month for a year. Well, that's not horrendous, actually, is it? That's not horrendous. I might actually just do that. You can cancel anytime. Unlimited access to wallstreetjournal.com and the Wall Street Journal app. Daily puzzles, crosswords, audio versions of the articles. All right, cool. Cool. All right. Well, maybe I'll do that. Let's take a look and see what's going on Market Watch. Anything exciting happening over here? And what day we're on? Friday. Oh, we get GDP revisions tomorrow. Why did no one tell me that, by the way? Come on, guys. You're meant to be like locked in the same as I am. So we get GDP revisions. Oh, we get the GDP announcement anyway. That could be interesting. That could be interesting, couldn't it? GDP growth rate. Expectations are 3%. Oh my God, that's awful. Down from 4.4. Why would GDP be down? Oh no, the choppers are all in the live stream, everybody. Oh, choppers. Hold on a minute. Oh man, there's such choppers out there. There we go. Come on, bros. What? Tim, can you put that word in the banned words thing? Can you do that? Yeah, it's wild. I turned subscriber only mode on just for a laugh. Gala or Sand? Sand. Gala's awful. We looked at it yesterday. We looked at Sand yesterday. We looked at Gala yesterday, and it's utter garbage. The same as whatever someone else kept telling me to look at as well was rubbish. I can't remember. There we go. Yeah, you're right, Magic Craig. Yeah. So yeah, cool. So we get personal income month over month, and we get GDP growth rate. So that, yeah. So I need to. Well, let's have a look at that. GDP USA expectations, and let's get a bit of a view. So, rising US trade deficit dims GDP forecast. Interesting. So Market Watch here says the US economy has grown faster than anyone predicted. Here's why. GDP is forecast to show 2% plus growth in 2025. When's this for? 2025? Published 19th, 2026. Okay. Final report card for US economy in 25 is like to show that. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is like an old article. We don't need this. Bots have entered the chat. Yeah, we got them though. Okay. Okay, let me close a couple of these windows down. Close. Market Watch. Latest news. Here we go. Here we go. Right. So, is there not like a... Can I not make this like not burn my eyes out because it's so bright? No, I can't find it in fairness. So Trump tariffs, obviously we have that. This is an opinion view. So the Supreme Court tariff reckoning won't rescue Main Street from the damage it suffered. I mean, there is a lot of view right now. Oh my God, you have to subscribe to all of these stupid things. It's ridiculous. Canada's handling Trump perfectly. Is that the Canadian guy, yeah? Curtis, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Absolute choppers. Absolute. You stopped talking about Volt Inu. Man, I mean, yeah, about two and a half years ago. Is Volt Inu even still going? Surely not. Is Volt Inu really still going, bro? Volt. Which one is it? Volt on BNB, Volt on Wrapped ETH. It must be this one, right? What is it? What? I mean, I haven't looked at this for ages. It's up 9% of the day. I mean, I don't know what the chart looks like, but let's take a look. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's probably a good reason why we stopped talking about it. If I'm just dead honest, looking at that chart. Nice one, Tim. Right, I can take the subscriber thing off so everyone can kind of chat now. Anyway, let's hope it works. Go on to a bit buy in. Probably not. Probably not. So I was going to talk about the other one. Here it is. Here's that other coin that that I didn't post in for obvious reasons, by the way. Again, they need to convince me this is worth sharing. I'll share with you guys, but the problem you've got is that obviously VCs, so they're unlocking certain amounts of tokens, but yeah, this is bad news, by the way. This is not great. 350 holders, doing about 38k in volume. Now, it might come back up, but yeah, zero. Take a look at it. Again, I'm not selling it to buy it, not financial advice. Nothing is ever financial advice on this channel, by the way, but, you know, take a look at it. It might be something for you. It might not be. I kind of like it, by the way. The TG is really cool. They've got like a roulette TG thing, which is kind of nice. The tokens have a utility, like there's a purpose to have them. So, you know, I kind of like it. It just needs to not look this bad. Again, though, this is the point I was trying to make yesterday, where people are like, "Oh, you need to get Wrecked Rabbit out." Like, I mean, this token's dev, and you know, it's a pretty well coded token. They know a lot of people, and this is what happens. Like, this is the problem with markets right now. It's just bad. Like, no one wants to put any money into some of these things. So yeah. Got to be mindful. Okay, this trade looks like it is not... I mean, I might leave this trade for a little bit longer. The trouble you've got, though, is once we sort of see this diminishing return on this, it's probably going to end up going nowhere. But, you know, maybe. There's no real risk to this if we got it. You know, what's the risk? 65 bucks if it wicked up. But, I mean, look at this right now. Pushing down off this high. We could just do with like a bit of a price wick, hit the trigger, and then zoop, down it comes. That'd be kind of nice. But, you know, hey. Some you win, some you lose. That's my view. If you are wanting to join me over on Bitunix, by the way, do check out the link in the description. Also in my bio, there is a link to the Discord. Check it out there. You get some insane bonuses, as well as a new user sign-up bonus as well. So definitely worthwhile checking out, for sure. For sure. Okay, latest news. Okay. Let's just, I'll tell you what, let's just really quickly have a look at something else. I went in all in at 65k, so I've been buying. What, as in you as in long from 65k? Bro, you're wild if that's the case. I love it. I love it, though. I love it. Hoping Bitcoin starts to climb. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I want Bitcoin to go up, but at the same time, I'm like, I do want it to come down so we can get that trade on and then let it absolutely skyrocket. Latest news, by the way, President Trump on Supreme Court tariff ruling says, I've been waiting forever. A ruling is expected as soon as tomorrow. Let me put a poll out, by the way. Let's do a quick poll here. Start a poll. Do you think we get the tariff rule tomorrow? Question mark. Let's see what you guys think. Let's see what you guys think. So yeah, let's just quickly do Iran and see if there's anything going on. Obviously, we looked at Flight Tracker yesterday. Nothing kind of crazy that I can see right now that's sort of going on. So yeah, it doesn't feel like it, albeit the day of reckoning, or certainly the expectation, is going to be tomorrow if we get anything. So right now, it doesn't look like anything's on there, just lots of, well, Prince Andrew, which obviously you would expect. And a really weird image that I keep getting around, how they process animals in meat factories, which is even weirder. So 5 giant US refueling planes just launched from Kansas, crossing the ocean to a base in Spain. Iran is on high alert after the Geneva talks collapsed. Oh dear. I wonder if can we get these on Flight Tracker? Let's have a look. Never missed anything crypto. So, I mean, I don't know if they're still going over, but let's see if we can find them actually. Right, man, everything is so slow this evening. I don't know why. Right. Okay. Let's see if we notice anything kind of going on crazy. Where's the US? Where is it? Here. Okay, so yeah. So if they are doing anything, it's kind of going over here. So that is nothing to worry about. And look at that, going to Abu Dhabi. Nothing like, no crazy unidentified planes right now that we are, we're seeing. Nothing super weird. Doesn't look like super weird stuff. ICL, ASCL. Toronto to Dubai. Man, lots of, yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything like super crazy going on. So, maybe it's a lot of hardware in the, in towards Iran, isn't there? Like a lot of hardware right now. I made the plan 2 years ago to all in anywhere below 70K and I stuck to the plan. Hey, always stick to the plan. Never change the plan. I've also read a report today that the Iranian currency literally dive bomb. You could be a millionaire with 726. Yeah, did you not see that? Yeah, the Iranian currency absolutely collapsed. But that's because their entire government system's collapsing. Will NATO back Trump? I had a debate with someone about this. I feel like they can't but back him, because if they don't, and I've said this for ages, by the way, I don't necessarily believe that Europe could handle themselves. If there was like a war, if it all kind of kicked off and Russia got involved and China got involved, like we couldn't do anything. Like the UK, as much as we've got hardware, we couldn't do anything. What are the military assets in the EU and in the EU compared to Russia and China? Let's just take a look at that. Let's take a look at it and see what the answers are. But I don't necessarily think that they could, and I think that's why they would have to back Trump, because I think if the US isn't in NATO, by the way, I think that's a problem. I think it's a problem. Now, does it mean they agree with him? Probably not. And we already know. I mean, did you not see the latest? Like, Keir Starmer's saying to, the US, nah, bro, you're not using any of the Chagos Islands. Get the hell out of here. They're being a bit awkward. Which, I just find politics is just weird. It's just I don't know if I'm going to find this, but yeah, I saw something earlier on. It was basically the UK is nope, you're not doing it. You are not having access to the Chagos Islands, which is kind of wild if you think about it that way. So here we go. Let's just take a look. I just put 220K down on a 24 unit. You do real estate? No. I'd be interested to learn about real estate, but I don't do real estate. I mean, that sounds crazy, by the way. It sounds great. So, defense spending in the EU right now projected is $381 billion versus Russia at $149 billion and China at $314 billion. So, cumulatively, Russia and China will outpace us. Man, this is like a list here. Okay, so personal rough order of magnitude: Europe 1.5 million active people, I think it is. Russia 1.3 million, China 2 million. So Europe would be outmanned, significantly outmanned actually, by both of those. Open source rollups using military balance, so tanks Europe, 7,000 tanks. Russia, 2,500. China, 4,700. So we got more tanks, which is great news. Naval power. China is assessed to have the world's largest navy by number of ships with a battle force of 370 plus ships and submarines. Even if Europe has strong individual navies, France, Italy, Spain, etc., China dominates in fleet size and shipping. Okay, so we're knackered in terms of the naval side. Nuclear. EU, only France has nuclear weapons. Russia, one of the two global nuclear superpowers, now starts capped deployed strategic warheads in 1,550. China growing arsenals. Okay, yeah. So I mean, look, if we go to nuclear war, we're all knackered, aren't we? Let's not worry about it. EU 27 versus Russia, much higher combined spending and large aggregated inventories, but Russia has a single chain command, combat experience in its current war and far bigger than nuclear force. EU versus China. EU can match China in spending, but China leads in naval mass and has more unified force structure. China has also a much larger manpower. Yeah. Let's, what about aircraft? You need to watch the film 300 2-bit. I've seen it. We're not Spartans, though. That's all I would say to you, Curtis. You know, the reality is, yeah, look, we've got more advanced technology, 100%. But if you just assume based upon the question being around would NATO support Trump? Well, if they don't, it could all get really spicy. But hey, I mean, who am I to kind of argue about it? Let's hope it doesn't get to that. But I fear, unfortunately, it probably will. And the big question is, if it's going to happen, if things pop off, the motivational strength military will be irresistible. I mean, that's true as well. So Russia have got 4,290 total military aircraft. China, 3,300. See, this is the problem, by the way. So think about it this way, right? So between Russia and China, they have 7,500 military aircraft. EU, there is no single EU air force, so there isn't an official EU. The largest single EU fleet, often cited the same, is France at 978 aircraft. If you add up EU member states, the EU's combined total is very likely larger than Russia or China, but it's spread across 27 air forces with different readiness, basing weapon stock and logistics. More aircraft, more usable combat power. So yeah, this has been the problem, by the way. This has always been my theory that if there was a war, like a full-on war, I just don't think the EU could fund it. But anyway, less about war, more about crypto. I'm going to leave this trade. Let's see if we wick this trade. We might get it. Might be pretty interesting on the open. Doesn't look like it. Like I said, we'll keep this trade open and see what happens. Maybe we get it. Maybe we don't. Again, there's not really risk. It's like $65 is a risk to the upside. I fear this is just going to push down now. Maybe balance off around 66.6. But hey, we'll see. We'll see. Right, everybody, that is it for me tonight. I will be back tomorrow, as always, 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. If you want a little bit of extra, do join our free Discord. Again, you can become a channel member. And also, I have plenty of content on the channel. So if you are interested in just watching and keep an eye on what's going on in the markets, then head over there to YouTube, also on TikTok as well. But I'll be back tomorrow. And in the vote, by the way, just to close it out, no is the tariff view tomorrow. Big day. Let's see what happens. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Back tomorrow. See you later.